Hey, what's up, fellas? Had some guys. I'm out here checking on the yard. That's manure. Uh, the bushes are blooming. All the bushes are blooming. So, anyways, had one of the guys ask me, "How in the hell did I end up in El Paso, Texas?" Well, I was living in 2012. I was living in Manassas, Virginia, and working at the Appeals Management Center in Washington, D.C. So here I'll show you. These are some coffee cups my wife got for me. Um, and I promise I'll get to the point. That being said, I'm going to sit down so I don't give you a seizure. Put the thing in a stand. Thank God for those guys being kind enough to tell me that. And if you don't know, I already have one strike here on YouTube, so I'm only doing this to try to help people. I'm going to explain today how and why I decided to get married and how and why I left Manassas, Virginia, and moved from there to El Paso, Texas, and what I did to find a wife, my pre requirements to have a wife. So, retire for the second time in 2012, December 19th, and all the paperwork. I was working at the Veterans Administration, so there's a thing you have to go through. It's a government agency, so you have to go through, like, I think it's Central Personnel Management or something, Personnel Management, CPO or something like that, Central Personnel Office. Anyway, so you have to wait for your paperwork to do that stuff, and was bombing around there, having a good time, and then I was like, you know what? I don't want to die alone. So, shit you not, in around April of 2016, I Google the best places to find a wife, and I Google, and number one came back New York City, and I was like, "Fuck that!" I have been to New York City. Yes, there are lots of women there, but they are some of the most delusional, psychotic women I've ever seen and dated in my life. I was like, "Fuck no." Number three was actually Washington, D.C. And if you think that there aren't a massive, massive amount of delusional women that are in DC, they all think they're ballers. They're all it, and they outnumber guys there. So do they in New York. And number two on the list was El Paso, Texas. And I was like, well, I'm pretty good with Spanish. Pero yo hablar, mi español es de Centro y Sudamérica. La palabra es cambiar, depende del país. Anyways, and I was like, yeah, I can speak pretty good Spanish, get along down there. And I don't know, Latin American women tend to be, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, tend to be a little more feminine. Not the gangster girls, but the traditional women down here. So I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take a chance to be happy. Sold all my shit, threw all my shit. And at that time, I had a car. It was a Mercury Grand Marquis, a black Mercury Grand Marquis. Threw all my shit in my car. And I drove here to El Paso. I rented a home off of a street called Pistolero here and back at the back street gym off of Mesa. And I started shopping for a wife, and literally shopping for a wife. Now, I know what I have. I know what I can bring to the table. I know that if I find a suitable mate, she will be entitled to two pensions with medical benefits should I die. But she has to meet the prerequisites. And I had to wade through an absolute sea of lying, delusional women. I dated doctors. Um, what is it called? What is she? She was an AUSA assistant United States attorneys, um, uh, orthopedic surgeons, nurses. Nurses are crazy. Lawyers, police officer, couple police officers. Um, a couple of military girls. Um, but my key thing, my only thing wasn't physical attractiveness. But yes, that's a big deal. Pretty face, decent body, and I was at the time. Shit, I've been married for 5 years now, 6 years. I got married in April 5th of 2017, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh, 6 years. Okay. So, anyways, and what I'm doing, I'm dating at least two, sometimes three times a day. I opened up a Match.com account. I would never go on um, Tinder, I think it's called. I don't, at that time, I didn't know of any other dating sites. And I didn't know about Bumble or any of that other stuff, so I wasn't on there. Be that as it may, so I started lining up all of these dates, and the biggest reason I moved here to El Paso is the women, just in the city of El Paso, the women to men ratio is 3 to 1, 3 women to every man, and right across the border in Juarez is a bunch of people, bunch of eligible women trying to get here. So that be that as it may, so. I had to write down what I wanted out of a woman. And I wrote down that she had to be single. She had to be feminine. She had to be in shape. And yes, we men all know that round is a shape, but it's not the fucking. Nobody wants to be married to an NFL linebacker, and you're a woman. And nah, she had to have. We had to have the same type of morals. We had to have the same type of goals. We had to enjoy some of the same things, and so I just dated, and I think I dated a little, a little over 300 people to find the one woman I ended up marrying, Maria. Um, and you have to be, you have to. A lot of women, when they're later in life, they're still delusional, but at one point in time, I had to tell this woman, I had to tell Maria, I said, hey, look, if you want to be with me, you got to be here on this date at this time. If you're not going to be here with me, then oh, well, it is what it is. And I would always walk away. And you know what? If they lied, I would tell them to their face, look, I'm not interested in you at all. You lied about your weight. You put your daughter's picture up there. For God's sakes, I dated two married women, and one of them, her husband, both times, their husband showed up at our date on a day. Oh, it was crazy. I'll get into some of those later, but so I wade through the sea of delusional women, and yeah, and I finally narrow it down to this lady and Maria. I sit her down and I tell her, this is what I can provide for you. I can change your life, and I can make sure that you never have to work. But since you are working, and she's I believe she's on what they call the executive team or the leadership team for the University Medical Center Hospital here in El Paso. I think it's financial services or fiscal services or something like that. But told her, hey, every bill we get, you have to pay half. Your car is your responsibility. Your insurance is your responsibility. Every other bill, mortgage, lights, food, everything else. And we put it in a joint account, which I think for each of us, I think it's like $2,500 each a month. We throw it in there. And then everything that comes out of that, all our bills come out of that together. And we put the rest away every month and start fresh for savings for vacations and big ticket items and stuff like that. So that's that. We ironed that out. Do you agree or not agree? She said, yes. Okay, I can do that. She says, that's fair. And I was like, inside, I was like, yes. I was like, check. And she's checking off all the blocks, except for occasionally still being delusional about who picks who. And it's true, girls, women uh, allow men access to their bodies, and men decide whether or not a woman is a good enough candidate to marry. Um, You must, if you want to be with a woman, you cannot make it a physical sex decision. It has to be like a business decision because it is a commitment for both of you. And it's not about love. It's about looking out for each other. It's about everybody doing their part, 50% down the middle. I don't do anything more than that. Um, so and I still got a feminine traditional woman out of it. The other thing I had to do, I had to meet her mother, I had to meet her family. I'm very traditional in the way where I asked her oldest living male relatives for her for her hand in marriage. I went through the process. Um, Now that their family has white boy in it. So, anyways, the other thing we had to do is we had to sit down in front of each other and do our FICO scores, credit check. You should never tie yourself to a woman. The other thing we had to have physicals before we could move any further. The third thing we had to do is sit down. She had an attorney and I had an attorney, and we videotaped this. And why you videotape this is to make sure that no one can say that they didn't understand what the hell was going on or that they did it under duress. So she has a copy, I have a copy, her attorney and my attorney have a copy of our prenuptial agreement. The other thing I would encourage you, if you have some assets like gold, your Pokemon cards, or whatever else you got that you consider an asset that you want stolen, you put that in the prenuptial. And the other thing, if you have assets that you need to hide, I'm not going to talk about that online ever. But if you have a lot of money, bitcoins, crypto, and stuff like that, you must hire and have a T&E attorney, title and estate attorney, help you through that, set stuff up offshore and rest of that. Okay, let's just move on. So I also told her, hey, if you want a diamond ring, I expect you to buy me something of the same or equal value. And God's honest truth, I bought her engagement ring and her wedding band at a pawn store. I don't know if any of you guys have ever bought stuff like that, but you can get an alarmingly good deal. Anyways, for me, a first date was always a coffee date. You're not entitled just because you're a woman to me to wine and dine you. You have to meet my expectations, and if you don't meet my expectations, I mean, I got up many a dates, or I would see them, but I would bring flowers or a flower. I would try to be as polite as I could, but if you showed up, there was a place called the Angry Oil. This girl shows up and she is orange flaming hair. She says she's 5'8". She's 5 foot tall, 350 pounds, and I just told her no. She started crying. No, no, you don't understand. I said I don't have to understand. Anyway, and I'm probably you tell her what, and you got to tell her. You got to be honest with. You got to tell her this is what I expect. I expect you to do this. One of my biggest expectations was your job can't be all consuming in your life. I expect to see you every day. I expect you to be home at a certain time. I expect us to spend. I didn't marry you so that you can spend time by yourself and I can spend time by myself, which we do. But I'm no, I don't want you staying at work till 11:30 at night for some fucking meeting, which is so. She agreed, and we do that. Once we agreed, once we got all the legal paperwork out, and you have to approach this if you decide to get married as a business decision. And if you don't do that, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And for all of these people that do not think that you can find a good traditional woman, I disagree. I found mine, but I had a plan, a massive plan to make sure I didn't get hemmed up. It's in writing, it's videotaped. And I know there's going to be people who say, no, no, I'm not going to do it. And that's fine. All I'm trying to do is tell you what I did. If it works for you, fine. If it doesn't work for you, fine. But to for me, it's worth it. I have somebody I can depend on now. I have somebody I can trust. Do we fight? Hell yeah, we fight. Do we argue about stuff? Yes, yes, yes. Tom Brady is the GOAT, and we argue about football and soccer, and she's from Mexico. So when the World Cup comes around, we'll argue about that stuff. But for me personally, in the long run, it's worth it. So I hope you guys stay safe and healthy. You can find a good, feminine, attractive, non delusional woman, but you have to treat it as a business process, like you're hiring a candidate to work for you, work with you, a partner. All right? Stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can. If you can't, take care of yourself. Like a fart in a G string from West Texas, El Paso. I'm out of here. Bye bye.